All right. Good evening. So we have our first all members training and our last new officials training. All of our new officials made it through. So a little digital round of applause for them for getting through and doing the clinic. Stripey also seems to be our most favorite new member at this point. Everybody has laughed and made comments about him. I see a lot of you smile already, so he's back. He does sign autographs only to coaches on the way out of games, so just remember that. If you need an autograph, you can find it on eBay. So we'll be doing penalty enforcement. Again, we're going to try to keep this concise. I'm going to do the talking. If we do have a question, we're open to it, but again, we're just going to try to stay on the tracks in terms of time-wise for this. We lined them out pretty simple. For the new guys, this is by far the most difficult concept to grasp, not only to get and apply, but then to also master. All of us veterans will make mistakes on this. And so again, just a reminder in the season on things that we should remember and things that we can control in terms of our game management and making this as efficient as possible, not only to explain to our partners, but also coaches and teams and everybody else. So without further ado, we'll keep them moving. And so, again, our keys, we had used this in the clinic and we use this throughout the new officials training. Our keys are our flow charts. So again, if we break down a technical foul as simply as possible, it is a foul against the rules. And we have three outcomes of a of a technical foul. There's only three things that can happen, and it all depends on the state of the ball. If the state of the ball is in possession of the team that commits a technical foul, you lose possession and it's a turnover, and we restart where the whistle blew and where the ball was when that whistle blew. If the ball is loose, we have a play on, and then we award the ball. And that ball, again, gets restarted where the whistle blew and the location of the ball, and the team who was offended now gets the ball. In the event the team that has possession is offended, we then throw a flag. We have a flag down slow whistle situation, and all technical fouls are 30 seconds releasable unless we get into the other stuff. And if a goal is scored during that flag down slow whistle situation, the penalty does not serve. It comes off the board and the flag gets wiped out in that scenario. Personal fouls, on the other hand, are fouls against a person or people, right? And so we have options of 1, 2, or 3 minute, no in between. We should be using our elements and our definitions to determine what those are. There's a little bit of subjectivity, but the rules line out pretty clear what those items are. In the event a personal foul occurs, we throw a flag every single time. The penalty serves every single time. If a goal is scored while a flag down slow whistle situation occurs, the penalty serves. Personal fouls can be releasable or non-releasable. So we have recognizing the situation. And so I've said this for years. I'm going to take this animation out, and I still forget. And every time I make a comment, somebody remind me at some point, take that out. So the simple way to then understand that, personal fouls, we have a flag thrown every time. Again, the state of the ball determines whether or not we blow a whistle. If it is a loose ball or the team that commits the personal foul is in possession, we blow the whistle. If the team that is offended has the ball and the other team commits a personal foul, we throw a flag and we go down a flag down slow whistle situation. Sounds like I'm repeating ourselves because we are, right? And so a lot of these become simplified. Again, we have three outcomes in that technical foul. We either have a whistle, as we said, if the team that has possession commits the technical foul. We have a play on if it's loose, or if the team without possession, we throw a flag, and it is the same as a personal foul. And then we get into, again, our play on situation. So again, a friendly reminder on items, right? We commit a loose ball foul. We say play on. We want these short. 1 Mississippi at most, unless that team who is offended is by themselves and about to scoop up the ball. There is nothing good that can happen from a long play on. What generally happens is more fouls, more aggravation, more frustration, more dumb stuff. And it happens every time. If you keep it short, and you award the ball, you will get out of a lot of items in terms of game management. You can keep these very short. It can be players pushed, and if the player gets right back up and is the only person near that ball, let him scoop it, make the play on to Mississippi. That's okay. In all other situations, you keep it short. You take your time on the adjudication, and it is tweet, tweet, play on, tweet, 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 tweet. We have a loose, we have a push, we have blue. Blue ball, push. Right here, right here. All it takes is 4 or 5 seconds, but everything calms down. We don't have to be in a rush to restart. We can go fast, not quick, as we always say. Fast, not quick in those scenarios. Again, we want to keep our eyes on the action. We want you calling the color of the team who gets the ball. Don't overly confuse it. We see it all the time. We don't want to see play on, tweet, 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 tweet. We have a loose, push on white, and therefore it's blue ball. The blue team gets the ball over here, white back up. That is way too wordy. Play on, tweet, 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 tweet. Loose, push, blue ball. Here, here, here. I need you here. Tweet, all within 4 or 5 seconds. Concise, consistent is what we're looking for. Our keys up top that I use, and we use this in the clinic too, on a face-off, right? We want to call the team that gets the ball, right? Down, set, whistle, tweet, 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 early, blue ball. Use the goalies if you need to. Look at the goalie, and if you're about to award the ball to blue, and I'm about to point, and I see a blue goalie, don't point that way. You need to turn around. I do it all the time. Take a second. Be a little slow on your call. Use the goalies as a reference. Flip and point in the correct direction. If you point in the wrong direction, it's not the end of the world. You need to kill the play. It's an official's error. My time, I pointed the wrong way. We're going this way. If you do that, you have to give 20 seconds for subs, even if it's quick. Of blue ball, oh, I mean this way. Don't blow it back in. Take a second. They get time because teams are subbing already. Teams are already getting coached. Teams are already running in a direction. Don't create an additional advantage if you can prevent it. And by rule, you can't give that extra advantage. Tweet, 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 tweet. I pointed the wrong way. We're going this way. Coaches, you good? We're going this way. Here we go. Be simple. Be slow. It's okay to make a mistake. That's not the end of the world. Same thing on the play on. We'd prefer if you just call the color to end the play on. It creates the same consistency we're asking you to do in all other technical foul calls. Play on, white scoops the ball, white, and we point the direction white is going. If you get overly wordy, it usually doesn't work in our advantage. The play on is off, and we're going, what happened? White ball. Same thing on the next one, face off. Tweet, 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 tweet. White ball, early. White ball. Same consistent language every time. Then we get into, again, we go back to our flag down situation. What kills it? We have goodies. If you're in the youth game, as Mr. Naramore said, we have goodies. We have an extra G in there, right? In college, we just have goodie. So there's 3 different things to remember. But again, goal, offense commits a foul, out of bounds, defense gains possession, an injury, end of period, second foul by the defense. And that second foul also means second flag. When a flag is down in both games, high school and college, we're specifically talking high school tonight, but when that other team commits a foul, technical or personal, and a flag is down, all penalties are time serving. So in the event, we have a slash on the defender, we throw a flag, and then that defender also pushes in a loose ball scenario, we throw a second flag. Because it's already a flag down situation, the team who's committed it cannot commit another foul without a time-serving penalty. So even though it's loose ball, it still serves 30 seconds. If it's a slash, it's easy. Both slashes serve. We're good. In the youth game, we have ground. So as long as it's not on a shot, we kill the play. In the college game, again, not for tonight, but we don't have that second foul rule. Then we get to second foul, as we said, and we have a list of things that go on. We're going to teach you both real quick. And so when we have that second flag down, so first flag, we throw a second one for any foul on that defense. These are the two things we want you to remember. It's a scoring opportunity in the offensive half going to goal, right? And so that scoring opportunity, can remember that as an element, but then what that means is in the offensive half, going towards goal is what we want. Vernon has put it together in an incredible sheet on the Google Drive that explains the entire situation in every nook and cranny. It's fantastic. You can read that. But if you remember, offensive half, going to goal as your two keys, you're going to be great. You're going to be great. If they go away from goal, if they go behind goal, we're not good. If they start from goal, they start from behind goal and start going towards the front in a attempted scoring chance, we're going to let them do that. They can start from behind and come in front, but as soon as they go out, what I tell the new officials is think of the 8-meter arc in women's and girls lacrosse. That 45-degree angles coming off of our pipes. If they're inside that fan, that is towards the goal. They start going outside of that, they're outside. So that's our goodies. A quick note again. Oh, go ahead.
On that, and they only get one shot. When they're the two flags down, they get one shot on goal, and that's it. After they've taken that shot, if it doesn't score, that's the end of it. And also, the ball can't hit the ground unless it's on a shot. So if there are two flags down and then the ball just becomes loose, that's the end of that slow whistle.
On our penalty report, remember they have gotten rid of the finger numbers on that. We say it out loud now, so we took out the animation so you can still see it, but it's going to be time serving foul on blue, number 2, a slash, 1 minute. Quick explanation if you need to. Don't get overly wordy. You don't have to give the explanation if it's simple and it's a run of the mill. Time serving foul on blue, number 2, slash, 1 minute, hit him in the back, coach. That's it.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Rob.
Just to swing back on what he just said. So if the offense has possession and you got a second violation by the defense, the offense gets one attempt to score, and if they don't, then you kill the play. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. They have to be going towards goal. So it's one attempt to go to goal, and as soon as they go away from goal, we kill the play. So think of it simple, of it's not a 1 Mississippi, but it's like a 2 Mississippi. If they're not going towards goal and trying to score, we want to allow that continuation. We don't want to take away the advantage of the offense. They just got fouled again. And if they're going towards goal, we want to allow that to continue. As soon as they go away, we want to prevent it, and it's a safety issue. We don't want the defense to foul again. We saw that most commonly at the end of the game. We don't want to see the defense get 3 and 4 flags on slashes and hits while that team is trying to just run the clock out. That's where it came in. Good question.
You're right. There's a maximum of 1 shot.
If they are already not in a scoring position, for example, behind the goal, ball is behind the goal, in possession, comes loose, second flag comes out for a loose ball push, they're not in a scoring opportunity, so we're going to kill it right there.
If the ball is loose and that foul occurs, we blow the whistle. If they are in possession, I'll just change it slightly to your point, and there's a second slash, let's say, on that same attackman. We're going to allow that attackman to come out, but go to goal. He can't come out and swing it, but if he's making a crease roll and wants to try to score, we're going to allow that player to crease roll. Good? Good questions all around. The additional, we said explanation. Again, if we're doing a prep school game, we add C knots. And so we're going to add an S to remind you you have to reset the shot clock on every time serving foul. Every time serving foul. Well, again, we'll go over that next week in our NCAA, but just wanted to remind you. So in our summary, and then we're going to give you a few examples. And so in our summary, we have releasable versus non-releasable. We have to know the difference and when those can be called. The rule is specific when we can call them. There's only certain penalties that can call them as well. Remember, if one goal is scored, all releasable penalties are released. All releasable penalties. Even if there's 2 guys in the box, 1 guy, 3, anything that's releasable that is currently serving, all gets wiped. They all go away on a singular goal.
From
Remember
the one team.
Of the one team, correct. Not, you can't release your own. Good point. Burr and I discussed that. I left it out on purpose, so I don't really confuse it. On your team, right? Live ball versus dead ball. Understand when they occur, and they have some differences. We're going to, again, give you a very short refresher on 7-2D. Understand stacking, that only 3 people on one team can serve a penalty at a time. If we have 4 people in the penalty box, they have to wait until a slot is open, right? And remember, we have to figure out who's entitled to the ball, where the ball gets restarted, and we sometimes have to remember the sequence of events, which gets tough, right? We have to remember what happened first, what happened second, because in the rules, they matter a lot. So, this is the simple stuff. Fouls on the same team. So if B1, and we have B as the defense in all these examples, just like the rule book. So B1 has a slash, B2 has a push. Doesn't matter where the ball is in this scenario. So we have 2 flags on the defense. B1 serves a minute, B2 serves 30. Both are run of the mill. We're all good. Everything's releasable. We're good. Then we have the scenario of B1 gets an unsportsmanlike conduct, B2 has a push. The 1 minute unsportsmanlike conduct is non-releasable by rule. The push is releasable by rule. If a goal is scored, B2 gets to come out, B1 has to stay because all the releasable penalties are released. Our third example, B1 has a slash. B1 also gets an unsportsmanlike conduct in that order. So B1 gets to serve 2 minutes, and the non-releasable penalty always serves first. So if a team scores in the first 10 seconds, too bad, you stay in the box. If team A scores a goal at 1 minute and 10 seconds, that player is now released. That first non-releasable minute has expired. Now we're into releasable penalty time. A goal is scored. That player gets to come back out early. Our fourth example, B1 has a push, B2 has a slash, B3 has an unnecessary roughness, and B4 told you to go kick rocks and not in that fashion. B4 has to wait until B1's penalty is over. Even though it's a non-releasable, he was the last in the sequence. He then serves last because it's on the player. That player goes 4. He doesn't have a slot to go in. Again, B1 doesn't get to come on the field. B1 gets released, right, and can go to the bench area and then come on and be fine, but he doesn't get to go on the field right away because they are still 3 men down. That 4th slot now kicks in, and we have to wait until that team has enough people, enough people out of the box to then release them onto the field. So even though his penalty time is done, he gets to go to the bench, but he doesn't get to come on the field. Let's say in that scenario, there's a goal right away, 5 seconds in. It's 6-on-3. They score a goal. B1, B2, B3, you're out of the box. B4 starts new, man down face, 6-on-5. Everything's releasable, gets released.
Hold on.
Go
no,
ahead.
your B3 was non-releasable. Oh, I'm sorry, unnecessary roughness. Yeah, it was releasable. You're right.
Yep.
You're right. Sorry.
John Burnett is famous for saying all releasable penalties are released on a goal. And that's why I remember it, because he yelled it at a coach once, and it was incredible. So I'll never forget that. So B1, B2, B3 are all releasable. They get to go. B4 starts. They score another goal within 10 seconds off the face-off. B4 sits until all that penalty time. In all these scenarios, A gets the ball because they're just on one team. They always go in the offensive half, and they can never, on the restart, and they can never go inside the goal area to start. So remember, who's entitled to the ball? Where does it go? does the sequence matter? We just saw some fouls where the sequence matters. To remind you, simultaneous fouls and 7-2D. They are sometimes synonymous, sometimes they were totally separate rules. It is important to remember 7-2D is what we do on penalty administration, and simultaneous fouls is a certain type of foul that then has certain types of things. Sometimes, again, they go together, sometimes they're separate. So simultaneous fouls, by definition, fouls, any types of fouls, on opposing teams, either during a live ball or when sequence cannot be determined in a dead ball. You have a melee and you can't figure out who was first. That is simultaneous. On the flip side of that, we have 7-2D, and it simply states when we have time-serving fouls, not just fouls, time-serving fouls, we go from the live ball whistle to the next live ball whistle. The rule is written slightly differently. We're not trying to confuse you, but it says when the first foul occurs or when the flag is thrown, and whichever one happens first. That's a lot of words for you to remember. We're keeping the elements simple this year. So think of the first live ball all the way until the next live ball whistle to restart play. So we start the play, there's a flag, there's a whistle, there's another flag. All of that is compassed in 7-2D because we did not restart the play. So it is that time period from live ball whistle to live ball whistle. That's the easiest way for your brain to remember. What then occurs is those time-serving fouls, the longest common penalty time is non-releasable. This gets tricky, so we're going to give you examples. And the quick refresher on that is, again, we can have simultaneous fouls that are not time-serving, right? Because it's live ball fouls. So let's say we have a flag down on the defense for a slash, and then the offense sets an illegal screen. That just kills the play. Those are technically simultaneous fouls. We had a personal and a technical, but they don't time serve. They don't get locked in, right? Is any time the offense commits a tech foul during a flag down slow whistle, we just kill the ball. There's no time serve for O. And again, we think in that scenario, it just kills the play. That's it. And we give the offense back the ball. We have beat to serve their penalty time. Everything's great. Dead ball technicals will cancel one another. So if we have a conduct and a conduct, for example, we don't have those things occur, right? They just cancel out if they both happen. As we said in the...
Let me just jump in for a second. So what we're saying here is if you had dead ball fouls that occurred at the exact same time, right? Remember, for them to be simultaneous fouls in a dead ball situation, they have to occur at the same time or where you cannot determine the order, okay? In general, with dead ball fouls, you enforce them in the order in which they occur. But if you cannot determine the order, they occurred at the exact same time or you can't figure out which one came first, so maybe two different officials had two different things, then you are in a simultaneous dead ball situation.
And I'll use the word toggle. That's how a lot of people remember it, where if we have the sequence determined in that scenario, team A commits a conduct, 30 seconds go by, team B commits a conduct in your dead ball. We go back and forth with the possession because we know the sequence. As we said in the clinic, the only dead ball technicals that can occur, conducts, delay game, that helmet scenario now. And again, if we have something like illegal equipment, mouthpiece, things like that, that are conducts, not personals. So don't get overly confused on it. In those scenarios, the team in possession retains possession. Really good one to try to remember, right? Offense has the ball, defense slash, and then offense commits that illegal screen or falls in the crease. Offense still gets the ball. Even in that scenario, offense has the ball, defense slashes, and then the offense slashes back. The team in possession retains the ball. When we change that is if there's different penalty time that occurs. If we do have two flags, right? If we have a 30 and a minute, the team that committed the 30 gets the ball. We say normal ball spot. There's a lot to this. When the whistle blew, when both teams are serving, we move the ball if in the defensive end, if only the defense is serving penalty time, just like regular. If we have just the defense serving the penalty time, they get to start on their offensive half, and they get to start outside the box. outside the goal area. So we either start at the face-off X or we start in the alleys.
Okay, let me
You,
just,
go ahead.
Rob went kind of fast on that, so let me just rephrase for 1 second here. If you have time serving live ball simultaneous fouls, if you have time serving live ball simultaneous fouls on both teams, then the restart is where the ball was when you killed the play. If you do not have time serving fouls on both teams in a simultaneous live ball situation, then you could potentially have a free clear. So that's what that's about, number 5.
I have a
Excellent.
quick question.
Go ahead.
So if you have 2 kids on opposing teams and both get conduct fouls, they're not serving 30 seconds locked in?
Correct. And so you generally don't want to ever do that. You basically never want to call conduct fouls on players on opposing teams at the same time. I would avoid that because nothing happens with it. You're right. You cannot give them penalty time for that. That's correct.
We'll give you the simple example of that. And I'm just going to make it clean and easy. A has the ball. A turns around, says something to the other player. We deem it a conduct and not an unsportsmanlike conduct in this scenario, right? Says something. Team A's got the ball. Team A says something. We go tweet, 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 and we flip the ball. And then B says something back. We know the sequence, even if it's live ball. So you flip it, and then you flip it. You toggle it twice.
That
Only
was an example of a live ball followed by a dead ball, the one that Rob just gave.
So if you have 2 kids calling each other shithead,
Yep.
and then so it's non-Tom serving, you just go by the sequence of you just toggle the ball. They don't serve anything, even though you're calling conduct fouls.
If it's live, they cancel
If they occur at the
exact same time.
same time.
So your options are you either got to call one conduct or, and then again, it's a tech foul, so it's not always time serving, and tech fouls don't get locked in, or you have to go to unsportsmanlike conduct, to your point.
I guess what I would just say is if you have 2 players going at it and you don't really have a sequence and you want them to serve time, just give them both unsportsmanlike conduct penalties for a minute.
Good question.
In this situation, if you enforce it just like any other technical foul. A has the ball, and B commits a technical foul. It's 30 second. It's a flag down. They're going to serve 30 seconds when we stop play, and then A does something stupid. They just commit another technical foul that kills the play.
Correct.
Yeah. If you have a sequence and you have a defensive foul live ball followed by an offensive foul live ball, yes.
Yeah. Going back, if you would, Rob, live ball, B slashes, and while the ball is still live, A slashes, and you deem them both to be 1 minute. A retains the ball because they had the ball at the start. Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
And it was
perfect.
equal penalty time.
Equal penalty time. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect segue. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Absolutely perfect. Right. So again, remember they sometimes overlap as rules. Sometimes they don't. Right. So just remember that. So we'll go through
I'm sorry, just to interrupt.
Yeah.
When he says overlap, he means they can sometimes both be applied to the same situation. The rules are separate. A simultaneous foul that has its own definition, it's its own rule. 7.2D has its own implementation and it's its own rule. But some situations require the application of both of these. Some situations only involve one or the other. So that's why when you often hear officials telling you, oh, it's all kind of the same thing, it's not. Not in every case, it's not. They're 2 separate things, and sometimes one, sometimes the other, sometimes they both apply depending on the situation. Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
You're super good. And so our 4 examples, we kept these clean for you because we know life will get not clean when you get on the field. But if you can try to remember these, it will go a long way. So again, B1 pushes first, and then A2 leaves the restraining area on a face-off. This was the video we used in the clinic, right? There's a loose ball push on the face-off player, and then we notice A2 left the restraining area. We know the sequence. That means the B1's push goes first. That is that silent dead ball, as we call it, even if it, and again, that's when we say it takes a second for us to get play on and our whistle, but as soon as that technical foul is committed and we know it's going to be a whistle, that play is dead even if it takes us an extra second. And so when A2 then leaves that face-off area, it's in a dead ball, even if the whistle didn't blow. So A simply gets the ball, we put the people back in the restraining boxes in that scenario, and it's simply the sequence of events that occur. It's not a simultaneous foul because that second one did not happen during the live balls, and we also know sequence, even though they're not all dead ball. The second example, this is Todd's. A1 has the ball. I'm on offense. B1 slashes me first, and then Todd's a good teammate and slashes that kid back for me and says, ha ha ha, right? We blow a whistle because the offense just committed a foul. A still gets the ball. They're both personal fouls. So B1 slashes and Todd, who's A2, also serves. Now, because of 7-2D, from whistle to live ball, and we haven't gotten to the next live ball whistle now, the greatest common penalty time is 1 minute. Now both fouls are non-releasable because of 7-2D. That occurred. The intentional pause. The third example, this gets a little wily, B1 gets a holding call. If you've watched Princeton, Syracuse the other night, this was the play. B1 gets a hold, we throw a flag, A1's in possession. B2 then hammers the same player with a slash. In high school, we have a second flag. Let's say that player is in the alley on the ground when that slash occurs. There's no chance for him to go to goal in that scenario. We don't want him to get hammered again by that slash. We blow a whistle. There's no scoring opportunity in progress. Now, A1, who happens to be the backup goalie in this exact scenario that just happened 2 weeks ago, leaves the bench and grabs the player. We have a lot of stuff. We now have 3 flags. We now have B1 for a hold for 30, B2 for a slash, and A1 3-minute expulsion foul for leaving the bench. And this is what actually occurred, right? So now we go off of the first thing, that B's going to get the ball. And why? It's on penalty time. A1's got the 3-minuter. B has got a 30 and a minute. B gets the ball on penalty time. B also gets the...
Hold on. Let's back up just a step here. So you do not have simultaneous fouls, right? You do not have fouls on opposing teams during a live ball situation. You have the hold, you have the slash, you had a whistle. So the first part is live ball. Then you had a dead ball foul when A1 left the bench and came out. Okay? So you enforce the live ball fouls first, the dead ball fouls in the order in which they occur. There's only one of them. And then you award the ball. So you're not comparing penalty time here, right? Because you had live ball and then you had dead ball. And there were no simultaneous fouls. So you've got B1 hold 30, B2 slash a minute. Now you go to the dead ball fouls and you enforce them. Now you've got A1 3-minute non-releasable. So B gets the ball because the last foul was a dead ball foul and you award possession based on that. Now 7-2D, from the time of the first foul, which was the B1 hold, until the whistle restarting play, which hasn't occurred yet, you take the greatest common penalty time. The way you do that is you look at the penalty time of each player and compare the greatest penalty time on B with the greatest penalty time on A. Greatest penalty time on B is the slash for 1 minute. The greatest penalty time on A is the 3-minute. The greatest between the 1 and the 3 is 1 minute. So every penalty 1 minute or less will be non-releasable. So B1's hold for 30, that's less than a minute, that's 1, that'll be non-releasable. B2 slashes a minute, that's non-releasable. A1's expulsion foul is automatically non-releasable for the 3 minutes, so everything's non-releasable.
Thank you. That was a way better explanation than I was going. That was excellent. The fourth one, we already discussed this, but same example. This is a common one. A1's got the ball. I'm running down the field. B1 slashes me, and then my teammate sets an illegal screen. Those are still fouls on opposing teams. A gets the ball. There's a whistle. A's going to get the ball. B1's going to serve, and because the offense, again, was only a technical foul during that flag down slow whistle situation, A2 does not serve. There's no other repercussion than the play ends and we blow a whistle. And then we go and adjudicate that slash just like normal. And that's it.
And it
the
could
ball's
could be a free clear.
Could be a free clear, right? We're gonna give the ball in the offensive half, not in the goal area.
One other quick point.
Go ahead.
This was a simultaneous foul situation. B1 slash, live ball. A2's illegal screen, live ball. They are simultaneous fouls, but they're not both time serving. So the lesson here is you can have simultaneous live ball fouls, right? They're not both always time serving, but they are still simultaneous fouls. You never applied 7-2D because that is only applied when there's time serving fouls on both teams, which in this case there isn't. There's only time serving foul on B. So this was simultaneous fouls. One team served a penalty. 7-2D was not applicable.
John, could you just explain again why in number 3 all the penalties are non-releasable? I mean, I understand obviously leaving the bench expulsion, but why is the hold and slash also non-releasable?
Sure. We look at, for 7-2D, from the time of the first penalty until the whistle restarting play, the greatest common penalty time on opposing teams is non-releasable. So if you have time-serving penalties on A and time-serving fouls on B, from the time of the first foul right up until you restart play, the longest common penalty time will be non-releasable by 7-2D.
Jonathan, I have a quick question, and I may not be covered in this slide, but under one of these rules, is there not a scenario that can occur where a technical foul that normally wouldn't be time serving ends up being a time serving, or am I confusing that with something else?
No, you're correct. You could have a situation where there's a loose ball, okay? And team B pushes, okay? And that is followed by an A player slashing. So it's a loose ball, play on because of B's push, then A turns and slashes. Are they simultaneous fouls? Yes. The loose ball push is live ball, and when the slash occurred, it was still live. You hadn't blown the whistle yet. So we have simultaneous fouls, and in this case, the team that was entitled to the ball from the first push, which was Team A, committed a personal foul. When the team entitled to the ball commits a personal foul, everybody serves. So in that scenario, B1 serves 30 seconds for the push, A1 serves 1 minute for the slash. The ball is restarted where it was because you have time-serving fouls on both teams, and the team that gets the ball is the team that had less penalty time, which in this case was Team B. This is one of those weird situations where a loose ball technical foul on a play on turned out to be time-serving because the team that was entitled to it after that push committed a personal foul.
That seems...
It seems weird,
backward.
But that is the rule. It was not the rule always, but many years ago they changed it, and that's the rule because they didn't want that original person who fouled to get away with it. So that That is the rule.
Is the 30 seconds locked in too?
Yes,
Because of
yes. And
7-2D?
now
Yeah.
7-2D now applies, right? And so the greatest common penalty time is 30 seconds. So the 30 on the push is non-releasable, and the first 30 seconds of the 1 minute slash is non-releasable. The second 30 seconds of the slash is releasable. That is correct.
Try
And
explaining that to the coach.
and
Well-
not to make hold on just a second.
Go ahead.
And not to make light of this question. It is a very good question. It really is. But this again, where you can game manage your way out of this by keeping that play on short. If it is a high tension powder keg moment on pushes and loose ball fouls. We've all seen them. A player gets rocked. We might even throw a flag for unnecessary roughness. If it gets chippy and that player turns around and goes to swing, if we can in our heads turn that play on to a whistle, and even if it takes that half second and we say that play is dead and then we see the slash, that scenario does not occur. We're not making light of that. That's a good question. And that is, Todd, we agree. And John and I have talked about it a million times. It doesn't logically make sense in our brains, right? And we get that. But that's where that game management needs to override in scenarios where you generally see that extra penalty coming in because of frustration. So understanding that short play on will save us from other things, because if then there's a whistle and we see that, bam, to the face, everybody sees it, everybody stops. And now we have an easy, you have to go off. And that's the end of it. We had a play on, they're going to get the ball, doesn't matter. That slash is now a dead ball slash, and we're going over to the bench and taking that player and putting them in the table area. Very good question. We'll open it up for 1 to 2 more questions. Again, we want to get to the test review for everybody, but we just felt we wanted to go over all of these things, put it on video. Again, these are confusing. These get a lot. Where they get off the rails is when we have 2 and 3 flags that come out. And we all have been in situations, we all will be in situations, unfortunately, we're going to have 2 and 3 flags. And again, it makes your life easier. If you know what it is going in, you can discuss them in the pregame. You don't have to get into 50, flags on the field, but get into, hey, when we have 2 flags, when we have a 3rd flag, what are we doing? What's the protocol? What are we going through? And you take time to again dissect this and digest it throughout the season. It will make your life easier, because again, you're going to have scenarios where everybody thinks you're incorrect. But if you know it and can apply it, and we can do it the 2nd game and the 10th game and the 30th game of the season, it again will get very consistent. So when these do occur in future games, it's not, I've never heard of that, of, yeah, it's the same thing the crew did last time. We're good here, right? And it'll continue to make your game management easier. I'm going to take that silence and run with it. We're going to move over to the test review at this point. We'll stay on afterwards if you have additional questions on this. Stripey didn't do so well on his exam. You get 5 attempts. 5 attempts. If you get a grade lower, I think it was 85. We'll have a correction on that if it's right. If it's lower than 85, retake the test. 80. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you get lower than an 80, retake it. You get 5 attempts. It is on Dragonfly. Dragonfly, again, the directions are in the Google Drive where you found the test. It'll bring you through. It's a little bit choppy to get in. If you need help, let one of us know. We're happy to help you. The NCAA test, we're going to go through that next week on the Zoom. We're going to do a review, and then we're going to jump into the test. That is on Google Drive. The direct link will come out next week. Don't worry about NCAA. We're just doing NFHS. That's what every member's got to do right now. A bunch of you texted me, which is fine. Can I get to the NCAA? Just wait. I promise we'll send it all out. We'll put it in an arbiter message for you so you have it. Again, Dragonfly, you need to go on. You need to do the directions. You need to enter all the information in there. And again, that will send it over to Dave and the CIAC. The other item he asked me to mention, if you are on both boards, Western board, NCLOA, or if you're on Western Mass board, we have a few members like that, You only need to take it once. You don't need to go into Dragonfly twice. The CIAC or other organizations will get that and disperse it to the ref organization. So you only have to take on Dragonfly once. Sound good? Questions on Dragonfly before we go to test review? Cool. Give me half a second. We're gonna, if I can find it.